You know the feeling, right? You've got this huge deadline, you have to get it done, but your phone is just sitting there, calling to you. You tell yourself just a quick scroll, and boom, an hour is gone. And then comes the guilt, right? We beat ourselves up thinking, I just don't have enough willpower. But what if that's not it at all? What if we've been blaming the wrong thing this whole time?
It is just this maddening loop, isn't it? You know exactly what you need to do, the to-do list is staring you in the face, but you just can't make yourself do it. It feels like this constant uphill battle against yourself, like a personal failure. But I want you to consider this. What if it's not a battle you're even supposed to be fighting in the first place?
I mean, does this sound familiar? It's that voice in your head, right? The one that says, just try harder. You just need more willpower. It's the story we've all been telling ourselves for years. We framed this whole distraction thing as a personal weakness, a failure of our character. Okay, but what if that whole way of thinking is just wrong? Let's get right into it and start taking apart this idea, this self-control myth. I mean, think about it. For years, we've been taught that getting distracted is basically a moral failing. If you just tried harder, if you just had more self-discipline, you could focus. And that just sends us down this spiral of making stricter rules for ourselves and then feeling super guilty when, surprise, surprise, we can't stick to them. But here's the big question, the real turning point. What if that whole idea is just completely backward? What if we've been pushing the wrong boulder up the wrong hill this whole time? Well, a research group called Atypica decided to dig into that exact question. So instead of asking the same old question, why can't students focus, these researchers totally flipped the script. They started with a completely different question, and that changed everything. And this shift, it seems small, but it is huge. The old question, is distraction a behavior problem? That's basically asking, what's wrong with you? But the new question, is it a decision problem? Well, that changes the game. It treats distraction not as a flaw, but as a choice we make when we're under pressure. And that reframing, it's the key to this whole thing. So here's the core insight they landed on. Distraction isn't some passive thing that just happens to us. Nope, it's an active choice. The researchers argued that when a student grabs their phone, it's not because they're lazy. It's because they are trying to solve an immediate emotional problem, like stress or feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so this line of thinking led them to a really cool idea from the business world called the jobs to be done theory. And it's pretty simple, actually. Just like you'd hire a plumber to fix a leaky pipe, we all hire different things to solve problems for us. And as it turns out, we're hiring our distractions to do some very specific, jobs. So check out this definition. This reframes the entire conversation. Digital distraction isn't just wasting time. It's a fast emotional regulation shortcut. When you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, your phone is often the fastest, easiest tool available to make you feel better. It's a quick fix for a real emotional need. So let that sink in. You're not just mindlessly scrolling. You are hiring Instagram. You're hiring TikTok. You're giving them a job to do for you in that moment. The real question then becomes, what's the job? Well, the research found that it usually comes down to one of three main emotional jobs. The first one, escaping academic pressure. When it all just feels like too much, your phone offers a quick way out. The second job is relieving boredom. When what you're supposed to be doing is just painfully dull, anything else seems better. And the third job is soothing that negative self-talk. When that little voice in your head starts saying you're not good enough, distraction can feel like a warm blanket. Okay, so now we get the why. We understand the jobs we're hiring distractions for. But how does that decision actually happen in the moment? Well, the researchers didn't stop at the why. They actually mapped out the whole process. And what they found is that this isn't some random impulse. There is a predictable, repeatable pattern here. A clear chain of events that starts with a feeling and ends with a choice. Think of it like a path. You've walked so many times, it's become a deep groove. So here's how that pathway looks. First, step one, there's a trigger. You feel a sudden spike of something uncomfortable, frustration, anxiety, maybe just boredom. Step two, your brain immediately kicks into gear and asks, okay, what's the fastest way to make this feeling go away? And then step three, the action. What's the quickest, easiest, most reliable tool for the job? 9 times out of 10, it's your phone. It wins that battle for your attention because it delivers that emotional relief almost instantly. All right, so if we accept this, that distraction is really just an emotional tool, how does that change how we try to fix it?
This insight is huge because it doesn't just redefine the problem, it points us toward a totally new solution, a new way to actually build focus that lasts.
Yeah, this is the really logical next step. If someone is using their phone to cope with anxiety, just taking the phone away is like, well, it's like taking a crutch away from someone with a broken leg and telling them to just walk better. You're punishing the coping mechanism without ever dealing with the actual injury. So you can see the difference, right? It's just night and day. The old way, stricter rules, more punishment, that's basically guaranteed to fail because it completely ignores the reason we get distracted. The new effective solution is to compete. We have to find better, healthier tools that can do the same emotional job that our phone is doing for us. And really, this is the big takeaway. Building real, lasting focus isn't about having more brute force willpower. It's about building a better emotional toolkit. It's about finding healthier, more sustainable ways to deal with pressure, to handle boredom, and to quiet that inner critic. So, I want to leave you with this question to think about. The next time you feel that urge to pick up your phone when you should be working, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what job am I about to hire my phone for? Am I trying to escape something? Am I just bored? Am I trying to make myself feel better? Because once you understand the why, you've taken the first and most important step toward finding a better way to get that job